Hallo ihr Lieben, also heute geht es weiter mit dem Case Chart, Bottom Triangle Part 2. We're going to keep going with our bottom triangle. I'm going to try to do this in a very simple fashion today, and then I'm going to expand on it after this video. But the first thing that I want you to know is that the bottom triangle at all times, bottom triangle, so let me show you really quick what I'm talking about. This triangle, it's called the secondary ending, and the only thing it is ever used for is adjectives. But it gets a little bit funky because adjectives show up in a bunch of different ways. So we have 4 different ways, 1, 2, 3, 4, that adjectives show up. I want you to make sure you write this down, including all the little extras and circles and things. So take your time, pause the video if you have to. But the 4 ways, the first way is the way it shows up in a dictionary in a sentence that's called predicate form. So der Junge ist lieb. Lieb is your adjective. It has no endings on it, nothing at all. And it means nice, just so you know. So the boy is nice. The second way is you have it in front of your noun. Here's your noun, Junge, it's masculine. It's in front of the noun, and it's preceded by a der word. In this case, it's our definite article. So der liebe Junge spielt Fußball. So in order to make that happen, I added an E ending to the end of my adjective. I had to add an E, and I'll show you why in a minute. The third way is it's preceded by an ein word. If it's preceded by an ein word, it's going to be a little different. So I have ein lieber Junge spielt Fußball. I actually had to add an ER to the end of that. I added an ER. I'll show you why in a second. The last way, and I can only show you this really with plural because that's the common way of using it, is it is unpreceded. There's nothing in front of the adjective. There's not a word that goes with it, but the adjective itself is still in front of the noun it talks about. So I changed Junge to Jungen, which is plural, and it says liebe Jungen spielen Fußball. Nice boys play soccer. It's a generalization. But unpreceded, no word in front of it that goes with that phrase. Ein words, der words, and the predicate. Okay, going to the case chart. First of all, I want you to fill in the case chart. You already know how to decide which case it's going to be, and you know that you have to decide based on the top which gender. So now we just got to figure out how to get to the bottom triangle. First of all, I said it's called secondary endings. Secondary endings are the bottom triangle. Again, that letter just signifies the very last letter in the word that you're going to write. So sometimes that N, for example, means you're adding an EN, not just an N. But you've got to know that it ends in N. Okay, so the first example I had that was at the end of the sentence had no endings. We don't use this. Second example, example number 2, you should have it on your paper. You had der liebe Junge. So I went from R to E. So I've used the primary ending. I used it. So because I used it, I moved down to my secondary ending. Primary first, secondary second. Okay, that makes sense. I hope you got that. That's going to be the same for all of these. So das schöne Haus. There's your das, S. Schön, I, schöne, adding the E. Okay, if I have an ein word, my second example, or my third example, it should be in your notes already. Ein lieber Junge. So if I use this pocket, right, if I use the pocket, I have to move this direction first. I have to use the primary ending before I ever get to use the secondary. So in this case, I won't get to use the secondary. Ein lieber Junge. Okay. For girl or for woman, we don't have that. We just have primary endings. We don't have pockets. So it would be eine liebe Frau. Ein schönes Haus. Okay. So always move pocket or bottom triangle. So if you use the pocket, you're going to use the primary ending, not the secondary. Otherwise, adjectives use the bottom. Okay, Last example is unpreceded. Unpreceded, so we had that plural example. Liebe Jungen spielen Fußball. If you're unpreceded, meaning you haven't used any ending because you haven't had any word that takes an ending, you always start at the top. So plural is our standard example for that, because that's just language-wise, it doesn't sound weird. You would go with that top E, that E instead of your N. So it is Liebe Jungen, not lieben Jungen. Liebe Jungen spielen Fußball. Okay, I hope all of that makes sense. You're going to do some practice with this later. We're going to expand on how to use it with more than one adjective. For now, just make sure you understand it this far. Have a good day.